everyone. Thank you for tuning into Spotlight Daytona. I'm your host, Ashley Garrett, local real estate agent with the Lux Group at Oceans Luxury Realty. Today we're here in the city of Holly Hill at Copper Bottom Craft Distillery. We're going to have a one-on-one interview with the owner, Jeremy Craig, and we're going to take a tour behind the scenes of his distillery. Stay tuned. Spotlight Daytona starts now. Daytona. Today we're here at Copper Bottom Craft Distillery with owner Jeremy Craig. Thank you so much for having us, Jeremy. We're so excited to have you on the show today. Diving right in, the name Copper Bottom, is there a story behind that?
There actually is. So Copper Bottom is an old nautical term. Back in the 1750s, the British Royal Navy started cladding the bottom of their ships with copper. Overnight, they were the best ships on the water. So we were doing rum, we wanted something nautical, we thought that was really cool. But there's also a double meaning to it. So if you were the most reliable, trustworthy, genuine sailor on that ship, you became the copper bottom of that ship.
Wow!
That's what we're trying to be. We're trying to be a genuine, real craft distillery. We make all of our products here. We're trying to make the best products we can. So we really thought it fit, and it's kind of a dead term that nobody uses anymore, and we're trying to bring it back.
I love it. So this location, we're in the city of Holly Hill. What made you choose this location? What made you choose the city of Holly Hill, and how long have you operated here?
Yeah, so we've been open about 2.5 years now, and I will tell you, we looked around in a bunch of different cities and a bunch of different locations, and Holly Hill was by far the most welcoming and most accommodating. I mean, as soon as we told them what we wanted to do, they said, absolutely, how can we help? How fast can you get open? And everybody from the city manager down to the people just working in the front office were super nice, and just they were really welcoming and opening to us. So we were really happy that we were able to find a place in Holly Hill, and that we were able to make this work. So.
We're so glad to hear that. What products do you offer here at Copper Bottom?
So right now, as of today, we have 4 products, and it changes all the time. That's why I say that. We have 3 standard products that we always carry. We have a vodka, a silver rum, a gold rum, and then we always have kind of a rotating beer barrel finished rum.
Oh wow!
And the beer barrel finished rum is something really cool and interesting. And what we do with that one is we take our gold rum, we age it for about 1.5 years in 1-choose bourbon barrels.
Wow.
So it's got a lot of nice color and flavor that we get from the barrels. Then we started working with a lot of local breweries in town. So we take our barrels over to a local brewery, they age their beer in our rum barrels, which gives them some flavor in their beer.
Wow.
We get that barrel back, and then we fill it up with another 1+year-old rum, pulls out a lot of really cool flavors from the beer. Wow. So the first one we did with Tomoka Brewery out in Port Orange. They aged their Russian Imperial Stout for about 9 months. Beer turned out fantastic.
Wow,
really
how
good.
exciting.
Yeah. And then we got it back, put another rum in there for another 8 months or so. We pulled out a lot of coffee and cocoa and cherry and raisin type notes. Really interesting.
Wow.
The problem is though, it's 1 barrel. And this is the reason I say we have 4 right now, is because we do. We have 4 at this moment, but it's a 1 barrel project. So we get about 350, 360 bottles out of it, and once it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone.
And we're on to the next one. So we've got barrels out at 6 or 7 different breweries all around town, and everybody's doing something different.
Wow.
So every release is going to be completely different than the one before.
Wow. Wow.
It's kind of cool.
I don't think we talked about taste testings today,
No,
but I would
we can make
love
that happen. No, I know a guy.
Now, we heard there was a story with a can in the wall. Can you
Yeah.
tell us this story?
So this is something that was kind of interesting. We bought this building about 4.5 years ago or so, and we did the whole build out ourselves. My parents and my wife are involved, and we came in here every day and we were tearing this place apart. Kind of our family history is my dad worked 20 plus years for Pabst, Schlitz, and Stroh's breweries all over in Tampa.
Wow.
My grandfather's actually retired from there. So a lot of my family worked in the beer industry. That's kind of how we got this background. I have a chemistry and biology background, so I knew the science behind this stuff. My dad had the beer background, and I homebrewed for a long time as well. And we wanted to do something a little different, so we started a distillery. Now the beer can. So when we were tearing this place apart, we were ripping walls down and all this, and in one of the walls I found 3 old Milwaukee cans, which was kind of interesting because Old Milwaukee was one of the products that my family made over in Tampa, at the brewery in Tampa.
Wow.
So I looked at the date code and all the information on there, and it was actually made at the time when both my grandfathers and my dad all worked at the brewery.
Oh my.
So we saw that and we thought it was just meant to be. So I was like, you know what?
absolutely.
We've got to put this on the wall. So it's up on the wall. We don't put any information around it. We said, you know what? I want people to ask me.
To ask what?
So I want to be able to tell the story, because a little note on the wall just won't tell the story.
That's such an amazing story.
Kinda cool,
now,
right?
This used to be a laundromat, I was told.
Yes, ma'am. It was an old
Wow.
laundromat. Yeah. By the time we got it, it had seen its better days, so to speak. But yeah, so we were able to repurpose the building. We stripped it down to the concrete and the block walls.
Wow.
And we completely rebuilt it from the ground up. I mean, pretty much just the shell was all that was remaining. So
Wow.
the cool thing is, though, being that it was an old laundromat, it had all the necessary things that we needed. When you're making beer, when you're making spirits, you really want floor drains. It's an old laundromat, it had floor drains. Any other building we looked at, we would have had to put that in, which is a lot of money. And also, I'll show you in the back, we also needed really tall ceilings. This place has 25-foot ceilings, so it worked out
This is just
great.
meant to be.
We also needed natural gas, which natural gas is not the easiest thing to come by either in this town.
Absolutely, sure.
Or we have a gas steam boiler in the back to run our equipment. So
Wow.
it had all 3 things that we really needed.
Everything you needed.
And it was the only building that we looked at in all the places that we found that had all 3.
Wow.
So it worked
Such
out
a
great.
wonderful story.
And it was in Holly Hill.
And it's in
Yeah.
Holly Hill. Such a wonderful story. And you give tours here. Will you let our viewers know about the tours and if they
Yeah.
can come in? When can they come in for those tours?
Absolutely. So we do free tours and tastings, Wednesday through Saturday from noon until 7. You don't need an appointment. You can just come on in and we'll give you a free tour. We'll let you try all the products. You don't need an appointment, like I said. If you have small children, that's not a big deal either. They just can't try it. So other than that, they can come in. There was one more thing I was going to say about that. I don't remember what it was now. I'm sure I'll remember it.
If you think of it, yeah, we're going to take a quick tour throughout the back.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so excited.
Oh, that's
for
what it
that.
was. Sorry. So yeah. So we can't. We're not a bar, so we can't serve cocktails.
Okay.
So since I can't sell you a drink, I'll give you a little sample cocktail as well. So we'll give you a little sample cocktail. You get to try all of our products, and if we do sell bottles here, so if you like something, you can take it with you on the way out.
There you go. What a wonderful story. Well, let's go take a tour of the back. We're so excited. Thank you so much.
Pass it around. This is a sample. Yeah, that's too far. I told you. So this is a sample of what we call the heads. This is the very first thing that comes off the still. It's a lot of, well, actually, I'll ask you, does it smell like anything in particular? Acetone. A lot of acetone, a lot of methanol. This will definitely take the nail polish right off your fingers. So, after it runs through these columns, it hits this last one here. This last column is our final condenser. It's got a bunch of copper tubes on the inside with 45-degree water running around. And all that does is just creates a pocket of cold air. So when that hot alcohol vapor hits that cold air, it recondenses, and I can catch it down here in our tanks. So this first tank is our heads and tails tank. All the bad stuff's in this one, all the good stuff's down here. This is how I do it. So all those alcohols, they all boil at different temperatures. So I've got temperature probes through the whole process so I can monitor the temperatures that they're boiling. I also have hydrometers that sit here so I can measure the alcohol content. And then we proof it down with just purified water. That's another thing we're pretty proud of, is we don't add any sugars or flavors or colors to any of our products. The flavors and the color that you get, it's either from the barrel or from the sugar cane, the distillation. That's it. Then from there, we'll pump it over here and we bottle everything by hand, 6 at a time. It fills them up for us. It'll stop automatically. We hand cork them and we bring them over this little machine over here and we label them one at a time. So we do everything in-house, start to finish. The only thing we buy in is raw ingredients and glass. Everything else we make here on site. Then we started a really interesting project with a lot of local breweries in town. And what we do is we take our gold rum barrels that we aged for about 1.5 years, empty it out, take that barrel to a local brewery. They age whatever beer they want as long as it takes. And when they're done with it, I get that barrel back and I fill it up with another rum, another 1+ year old rum, pulls out a lot of really interesting characteristics from the beer that was in there. So this one is our beer barrel finished rum. So I'm going to explain how we do this one. So we take our gold rum barrel that we aged for about 1.5 years, we empty that one out and we bottle it. I take that barrel over to a local brewery. This one in particular came from Wops Hops. They're out of Sanford. They aged their coconut ale for about 6 months in our rum barrel. When they were done with it, I got that barrel back and I put another one of these in there for another 6 months. This is what came out.